So I will talk about the magazine called Živel, which started in 1995, which is quite a long time. And as you know, there was a big project about Czech visual identity called Identita. It was a big book and an exhibition in Museum Kampa, and now exhibition in London. And it's full of mentions of Živel, some of them written by me. But I'm still delighted that Živel is continuing to be so important magazine in the field of visual culture and graphic design. Standing here, I feel something like an imposter syndrome, though, because I am not a digital artist, I am not a graphic designer. I'm a journalist, one of the founders of Živel, and I'm speaking in a language which is not my native one. As our former president Václav Klaus would say, let me quote myself. Živel was one of the most radical new magazines of the 1990s, both in terms of graphic design and, to a certain extent, its content. Starting in 1995, the magazine was created by a trio of editors, Ivan Adamovič, Petr Krejzek, and Luboš Pavlovič, while Klára Kvízová and Petr Krejzek were in charge of its graphic design. Klára Kvízová had just graduated from the type studio at the Academy of Arts, Architecture and Design in Prague, and she submitted the first issue of Živel as her diploma thesis. The teachers were surprised by its unusual design and the fact that they were presented not with a mock-up, but with an already published copy that had gone into mainstream distribution. In her review of this student work, Eva Janáková-Kloboch wrote, Živel has succeeded in doing what is lacking in the Czech Republic, with the exception of Raut magazine, creating a graphic style as a way of spreading a certain lifestyle, a feeling, an opinion. Klára Kvízová designed the first two issues, while Petr Krejzek and other graphic designers, especially Marek Pistora, became increasingly involved in the design process. Pistora supplied the important Merkur typeface, which was also used for Živel's first poster, Instructions for Making an Atomic Bomb. We will see it later. Živel became a platform for young graphic artists to experiment with strengths in typography. It also served as a springboard for members of the editorial staff, many of whom went on to become editors-in-chief of other periodicals. An outstanding photographer who got his start with Živel was Adam Holly. Well, it's not stopping. I will show you some pictures later. Don't worry. Živel's logo work was unusual and decidedly anti-modern. For the first three issues, the logo was handcrafted as a real object, successfully made from bark, wax, and wire, and then scanned. A similar contrast between the old and the new was created by Krejzek's photographs, taken with a plate camera. Another peculiarity was that on the covers of the first issues, members of the editorial team themselves posed for photographers from the Bratrstvo Artists Group. This approach was based on the conviction that the magazine content should be shaped by the personal interests and obsessions of its editors. Contemporary music represented an important link for Živel's content and aesthetics, as was the aesthetics of British magazines and album covers, which had begun to be available in the Czech Republic to a limited extent. The editors took full advantage of their absolute freedom and independence, and the magazine soon gained cult status, especially among the younger generation of readers. In 2000, Živel won the Union of Visual Artists Award at the International Biennale of Graphic Design in Brno, and is also represented in the permanent exhibition of the Brno Museum of Applied Arts as an example of the post-revolutionary design. The magazine has continued to be published till these days. I would like to look back at some images of and from Živel and to think about the visual symbolism of some of them. This is, oh, it's here. This is quite interesting photo. The photo was taken by Václav Jirásek from the mentioned Bratrstvo group, and it was a sort of parody to communist images as you know them from the social realism period. So it's very ironic way how to cope with the old social realist photos. And so it was a sort of example of how Bratrstvo worked sometimes. And there was an exhibition of these photos in the end of 1980s near Laterna Magica. And when the Velvet Revolution came, someone from the and in Laterna Magica, it's a Czech theater, the first Czech political movement which was outside of the communist sphere was founded there. Someone from the meeting of Občanské forum, which is the name of the movement, saw the exhibition, and he saw this image there, and asked Václav if Občanské forum can use this image for the Velvet Revolution imagery. So this was one of the most known posters of that Velvet Revolution thing. With the sign that the truth will win always. So we can see that the symbols remain the same, and they can just be shown in different contexts. This is example, the graphic designers of Živel worked previously for the magazine Okno, and some people think that Živel is continuation of Okno, which is not quite true, but it's true that Okno stopped its publication quite soon after Živel started its own publication. So Petr Krejzek and Klára Kvízová did this cover for Okno, and you can see, well, Okno in the end caught the first waves of cyberculture and such things. So symbols like virtual reality was quite vibrant in these times. You can see how such cover was made. First, they made a virtual reality helmet from some box from shoes or something, and they take some fake bomb, and then they made a photo, and then they worked in the computer with it. And also you can see there a mushroom in the corner, which shows how psychedelic culture, dance culture, and cyberculture appeared at almost the same time in the Czech region, and they were very closely connected. So we read Terence McKenna in one hand, and William Gibson in the other hand, and Timothy Leary somewhere in the middle. I tried to write a letter to Timothy Leary if he would like to wrote an article for Živel, and he wrote to me that unfortunately he has a prostate cancer and he is not writing anymore, and soon after that he died. Our graphic designers got their inspiration from British and American magazines like Reagan. Reagan is maybe the most famous of them, or most influential of them. But these magazines were not the main influence, because it was not easy to get them in Czech Republic in the middle 90s. So the biggest graphic influence on Czech designers, of the new wave of Czech designers, were CD covers. And CD covers of the independent small labels, they got the new kind of visual design which was adopted by Czech designers. We are also quite influenced by Mondo 2000, a magazine of the newly formed cyberculture movement. We can laugh now at the typography of those covers, but at these times they were strong for us. And the logo of Živel was made. It should resemble some logo of an automobile, so it's very modern and streamlined. Here you can see above the logo there is something which should be a virus. Virus was quite a vibrant word at this time. Like everything was a virus. Like language is a virus and love is a virus, and so virus was a very catchy word. And our claim was, if you don't understand the world around you, read Živel and you will be perplexed even more. And this is the poster with an instruction how to build an atomic bomb. It was made from a typeset called Merkur by Marek Pistora, graphic designer. Merkur was important to us because everyone in our childhood played with the Merkur construction set. So Merkur was a strong memory for us, and about the memories and memories for the future I will talk later. We feared that the police will come to us and ask us to get rid of this poster. We put the poster on the street where so everyone could see it beside the entrance of the rooms where Živel was created. And it's the first issue of Živel. It's nice to to see me after those years, and it was made by Václav Jirásek, the photographer, and his idea was to put a mask on me, like a respirator, and so you would think that it's about 3 years old photo where from the time where everyone was wearing a respirator. So when I have a profile on Facebook, and I put this photo on my Facebook profile, and people who hate respirators, you know that there is a big group of them, started to write me, "Hey, you idiot! Why you wear this? Don't you know that it's for nothing?" and so on. And I wrote to them that it's a photo from 1995, and they told me it's even worse. You started with this so long ago. So you see Shaman, Net, House, Bruce Sterling. Bruce Sterling was a very early visitor of Prague in the 1990s. It's him. It's a photo made by plate camera by Petr Krejzek. It was very nice meeting with Bruce. He came to Prague and he wore this black leather jacket, and we all of us thought, yes, it's this cyberpunk image. You surely had to have this cyberpunk imagery, and he told us, no, I just wear this black leather jacket whenever I travel because it's warm and durable. So it was not like we thought. This is example of the new type used first time in the Živel magazine. This sterling. This is a cover of the third issue. You see the logo made from bark, really craved from real bark and scanned, and again the image of virus in the I shouldn't scratch myself. And you see Leary and Bowie, and again Amanita muscaria mushroom, which was the strong symbol of the psychedelic culture, which we tried to explore, of course. This is a photo of Egon Bonde, a philosopher and writer who started writing in the end of 1940s and wrote still in the 1990s. And in his old age, he learned about cyberpunk, and he started to read cyberpunk and write like cyberpunk fiction. Our graphics use this well-known process that you divide the photo and you will make a mirror image of the on the right what is on the left. Only later we became aware that Egon Bonde was a confidant of secret police. So this photo, you can see this strange double face guy who is looking, each of his eyes looking in different direction, similarly to the soul of this writer. This is our porn issue. Of course, we had to make a porn issue with the 3D model of a pig. And young people don't know what they are looking at. It's a retro issue. What was important, we wanted our readers to hear the music we like, so at some time each issue was accompanied by a CD, musical CD. Also, I think young people don't know what is it. This is a cover where our photographer Adam Holly is on the cover, styled as a Robert Smith, and still many people don't believe us that it's Adam Holly and think it's Robert Smith. This is you can compare them. In this issue, the graphic designers tried to create or make a note to older magazine called Post, and the queer issue was quite suitable for it. The Post magazine used the special typeface. You can see the word "lost" here, so it's similar to Post. And it's an example from the latest issue, interview with Livia Levlin. Okay, and these are the covers of the latest issue. We did the black and white and color one, which was not the plan before, but somehow Václav Jirásek, the photographer, tried to experiment with projection to the human body. And we thought that it's too strong for the reader, the color one, but it's much more selling than the black and white one. You can find a theme of future quite often in Živel magazine. Let me say something about it. This is example of a cover, a magazine cover, which we read when we were young. We belong to the youngest boomer generation or the oldest ones from Generation X. We have been fed with visions of bright, technological, advanced future and social justice. Yes, they promised us nothing less than utopia. It hadn't been called a communist utopia anymore in the 1980s, but still the wet dreams of future toys for the boys and interstellar traffic was common in most of the magazines for young readers we read. You can add the mostly optimistic socialist science fiction to the whole picture. As we grew up, we saw that the world of today is not bad, but still it owes a lot to the imagined world of tomorrow from the media of our youth. Unconsciously, we felt that we have been robbed of our future. And from this point, there is a small step only for the nostalgia for the future. In her book on post-communist nostalgia called The Future of Nostalgia, cultural theorist Svetlana Boym writes that nostalgia is a longing for a lost home. I quote, "At the first glance, nostalgia is a longing for a place, but actually it's a yearning for a different time, the time of our childhood, the slower rhythms of our dreams. In broader sense, nostalgia is a rebellion against the modern idea of time, the time of history and progress." End of quote. One of the reactions to this is a hope that we will be able to restore the lost past. In fact, this is what is happening in Russia in the past few decades. The Russians are depressed by the loss of an empire and they want to restore it. To restore the simple world before the modern, uncomprehensive times. Even in their science fiction, we can find a huge line of books called Papadanci. Their characters usually fall in time into the Russian history and with the help of modern wisdom, they alter the history from the contemporary ill direction. But we are not talking about restoration of the past, but about the memories of the future that didn't happen. So we have here a different kind of nostalgia, a double nostalgia or two-way nostalgia. Nostalgia for the past in which we imagined the future in our childhood. So the solution is not to restore the past, but to accelerate the future, which we didn't get yet. One of the solutions, of course. Again, we can see the example today. In the so-called accelerationism, sorry, it's a difficult word. A new kind of ideology, or maybe a religion, popular among the techno-elite, or someone could say techno-fascists, from American Silicon Valley, which infected the group of people around Donald Trump. According to Wikipedia, accelerationism is a range of revolutionary and reactionary ideas that call for the drastic intensification of capitalist growth, technological change, and other processes of social change to destabilize existing systems and create radical social transformations referred to as acceleration. End of quote. According to the worshippers, the only obstacle to the promised future land is the regulation of progress, so let's deregulate everything. What is important is that unlike melancholia, which is highly individualistic, nostalgia extends between personal and collective memory. As I said, the feeling that we had been robbed of the promised future is a feeling which connects a generation. This is an example of the toys we played with. Of course, it was not a post-communist problem only. Let's look into a book, Where's My Jetpack, by Daniel Wilson. In the introduction, we can read, "The future is now, and we are not impressed. The future was supposed to be fully automatic, atomic-powered, germ-free utopia. Where are the ray guns, the flying cars, and the hoverboards we expected?" End of quote. Svetlana Boym traces the word nostalgia back to the year 1688, when it was coined by a Swiss doctor, Johannes Hofer. According to him, a nostalgia is really a disease which can be cured by returning home, for example. What is interesting is that one of the early symptoms of this disease was an ability to hear voices or to see the ghosts, like the ghosts of people we long for. And again, as if we speak about the nostalgia for the future, we already have a proper word coined by French philosopher Jacques Derrida in his 1993 book Spectres of Marx. The word is hauntology, later much used by Mark Fisher, author of a famous book, Capitalist Realism. This word is referring to the persistence of elements from the social or cultural past, as in the manner of ghosts. So the ghosts we see as symptoms of this collective mental disease are the ghosts of the future which did not happen. In the end, if I would give one advice to younger people who are starting some project like a magazine, I would recommend them don't much think about it and do it. Otherwise, it's a central credo of 1990s, I think. Otherwise, you will end as a centipede in the famous fable, where the centipede starts thinking how to use all these legs, and she cannot move anymore. So don't be a thinking centipede, and be a doing centipede. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for the presentation, for the lecture. Just a side note, you can buy, I believe, the latest edition of Živel in the Mouvo stall as well. So I think it's a great opportunity. And I would like to ask you maybe something slightly disconnected from Živel, but as the whole overarching topic for this year's conference is somehow looking at the transformative energy in the creative industry in the past decade, where Mouvo was kind of being evoluted. What is your view at the past 10 years? Like, what do you think were the biggest drivers in the creative and publishing industry, or like the biggest change making things?
Well, it's again. I choose another way how to cope with future nostalgia, and it's a way that I am rather digging in the past rather than looking what's new and or what's coming. So I try to track how people in the past wrote about the future. Just now I work in a museum of Czech literature in Prague, and I prepared a room dedicated to Jan Neruda, a big classic of Czech literature from the end of the 19th century. And he wrote about 20 feuilletons or short texts about the future, and it's so funny to read them and to compare them, what happened, what didn't happen. And Neruda was very, very wise in these texts. For example, he was interested in communication in the first place, which was not a big theme in the old science fiction, but now we know that it's a big big thing in the present times. So if you have some time in Prague, or if you live here, visit Jan Neruda's room in Museum of Czech Literature, or you can buy a book of collected Neruda's feuilletons about the future.
Okay, that's a very good recommendation.
Yeah.
Also, I wondered, as you shown the inspirational sources and magazine from abroad when Živel was kind of being started, are there any publications, contemporary ones, that you would maybe like recommend to have a look at currently from the whole international scene? Might be even easier now to get some to Czech Republic.
I think that many of the creativity moved to the net, But we, as I said, we are young boomers, so we grown up on reading like paper magazines, and this is why we are doing paper magazines. So now, well, I don't know.
No problem, no problem. I just wondered. Do we have any questions in the audience? For none? Yeah, we do. Do we have a microphone for that? Yeah, super.
Thank you very much for the talk. I have just one question. Because you spoke about the old magazines, especially Živel. So my question is it possible to get some old issues somewhere? So is there like any online archive? Because I think it would be good for some of the people to read them, I mean, that from the 90s. So is it possible to get hands on them today?
Our plan for this year is to publish a restored first issue, because it's so difficult to get it now. People sell it for like 10,000 crowns in auctions. Hopefully, if everything will go fine, we will have a new edition of the first issue. And for the old issues, I don't know. I would try like Aukro and online auctions. I'm not sure if any bookstore or something like this have them.
Okay, thanks.
Have you thought of getting a digital scan of the whole library of the past issues?
We think about it, but all of us have families and regular jobs, and so we don't have much time to solve this.
Okay.
But it's maybe someday.
All right. As we also like conclude the Q&A sections with a bit of a predictions or looking ahead in the next 10 years, I wanted to ask you, like, where do you see the publishing and print industry, you know, in the upcoming decade? Do you think it's going to be fine, or will have to adapt even more that it did, or it's really like last year where we can enjoy paper magazines in our hands, or how do you see it?
I think that paper will not die. That it will not become a dead medium. Dead media was famous or a favorite topic of Bruce Sterling. He wrote about it a lot. But we see that almost no medium die completely. They are interlapping. So you still can hear, or even we saw a big return of LPs in the recent years, and we have a big factory for making LPs in Czech Republic, and they are fully booked for a long time ahead. So it's quite an interesting movement, and maybe we will see also a big return of paper magazines whose print runs are going down and down, in fact. Or maybe they will transform to fanzines, and we will have the warm feeling that we have something really special, something unique.
Do you think that then it's maybe a bigger opportunity for designers to be more creative when, you know, like the paper editions are sort of a niche thing, and maybe something a bit more premium that then you can, you know, rather than a mass-produced, published article?
I don't know. So if they will not be making magazines, they still be making some posters, or I think that one of the articles we had in Živel was the letters or the typography will survive everything. So I think it will survive everything. And in the street art, we see that on the contrary, it's the typefaces and the letters had very strong power. So you don't have to print them. You can spray them or see them on the screen.
Okay. Do we have some more questions in the audience for Ivan? If not, then thank you very much again for a great presentation.
Thank you very much.